Join me now, someone who has led the charge against net zero from day one, Liberal Senator for Victoria, Sarah Henderson. Sarah, you must be pleased. This net zero monkey's now off the party's back, and you've got a real chance to refocus attention not on yourselves, but on the harm, the economic harm of Labor's energy madness.
Well, Peter, good evening. And this is a great day for the Liberal Party, and it's also a great day for all Australians. We have dumped net zero because what net zero is all about is economically and environmentally destructive policies by this Albanese government. And of course, as we know, Peter, Australians were sold one big fat lie. Rather than energy prices going down, they are going through the roof. Australians are paying the price. Families, small businesses, manufacturers and regional communities. And I have to say I'm so thrilled, and I really commend the really hard work of everyone in our team, of course led by Susan Lee.
I will get to some questions particularly about regional Victoria, because there's some, I think, very welcome detail in your announcement, the party's announcement. But I have to say to you, you know, I make the point here most nights, you lose 100% of the fights you're not in, right? So now that you've got a net zero, the monkey off your back, as I say, you've got to get in the ring and fight for it. Help people understand net zero doesn't mean you're junking climate change and climate action, as we're told young people want. You just have a better way that puts Australians first, that will use our energy here. We're not going to ship it all overseas. They're going to bring down prices, all of that, because you had a good nuclear policy at the election, you never fought for it. You had a good immigration policy of a sort, but you didn't fight for that either. You didn't talk that up. So are we really going to see some fight in the Liberal dog?
Peter, you are absolutely going to see one massive fight, and I am convinced this is a fight we can win. With policies like this, we can actually win the next election, I believe, because this is a disaster for our country. I mean, so many Australians are suffering under these policies. Not only have Australians been sold a lie, but these 2030 and 2035 emission reduction targets are a load of nonsense. We know that Labor is nowhere near them. Net zero is just a fabrication. And of course, what we are doing with these policies is turning our back on the very things that have made our country so prosperous: coal, gas, uranium, critical minerals. And yes, there is still an important role for renewables, but not this renewables-only madness that we have seen from Labor that is costing our country so dearly. So I say to this Prime Minister, the only clown show that we are seeing is the clown show that we are being subjected to by this government, which is costing Australians so much. And boy, oh boy, what a fight we are going to have for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, I often say that, in particular, the Minister, Chris Bowen, is incredibly vulnerable. I think he's the Albanese government's weakest link. And I think he and the Prime Minister are just not over this detail, particularly the economic detail. So I think if you take that fight up to them, it's eminently winnable. But something on the rollout. So the RPA's got a website. There's already 150 community groups opposing big-scale, large-scale renewables projects. You know, obviously, in Western Victoria, there's a hullabaloo with farmers about the rollout of the transmission line required to get the power from these renewable sites to the city where people are going to use it. And you talk about a social licence. You won't support rolling out renewables without a social licence. What does that mean to you, Sarah?
Well, this is a policy that I have been prosecuting almost since the election, a community-first focus on the expenditure of federal funds. So what we have announced, and of course everything is subject to proper endorsement on Sunday, but is a prohibition on the use of federal funds for any new electricity infrastructure projects, including high-voltage transmission lines, unless they meet the highest standards in that community, and that includes the safeguarding of farmers' rights. So this is incredibly important, Peter, because billions and billions of dollars are going into these subsidies, including through the Clean Energy Finance Corporation. And we are saying we are not going to allow any federal funding to go to these projects unless the rights of regional communities, including our farmers, are protected. So this is a massive win for regional communities. I'm sorry we weren't able to roll this policy out sooner. I did advocate for it before the election, so I am disappointed about that. But at last we can really stand up for regional communities, including in Western Victoria. They are being decimated by Labor's reckless renewables-only policies, which completely disregard their communities, which completely disregard the rights of farmers. Our food security is now going to be number one and, of course, underpinned by energy security for this country.
Do you expect those colleagues like Andrew Bragg, who threatened to quit if the party quit net zero, to now resign?
Look, I can't speak for anyone else, but I think there was enormous support for abandoning net zero. Without speaking about what happened in the party room, of course, there were lots of details reported. There is very much a strong and very universal, I think, view now that we've got to do better in terms of our energy policies after what we've seen from Labor. So, look, it really is a matter for them, Peter, but I really hope and trust, and I'm pretty confident that we will all get behind this as one united coalition to take the fight up to Labor over the next 2.5 years.
You, Sarah, Andrew, Hasty, Jacinta Price, I don't think we'd be that upset if there were vacancies on the front bench. I'll leave it there. You can't say anything. I certainly can. Thanks for your time.